Salutations! So Oberheim are back big time with the OB-X8 analog polyphonic synthesizer, an instrument that continues on the tradition of the classic OBs of the late 70s and early 80s. Potentially a dream synthesizer for some. Let's check it out. So the headline stuff, you've got all the components you need for classic subtractive synthesis. For each of the 8 voices, there's 2 oscillators, pulse width modulation, cross modulation, sync, it's a multi-mode filter, an amp, 2 envelope generators, a modulation section with an LFO and 2 destination mixers, and another LFO down here in the arpeggiator section. And so with just that, there's already quite a lot of stuff you can do. So all good, but we're only just beginning because there's a keyboard section here and you can do splits and doubles, and you have control over the stereo voice allocation. So you could set up a nice, wide, rich, warm pad sound, for example. Or, if you want to be a bit more aggressive, you could take a low-pass bass sound and then stack a gnarly bandpass sound over the top of it and then knock down some walls. Now, in the 1980s, the Sun newspaper had page 3, but Oberheim completely outdid them with the far less misogynistic and, frankly, more arousing page 2. Now, page 2 has been continued on in the OB-X8. Now, on the original, there was a bunch of additional labelling on the legend, and the page 2 button was like a shift function. If you pressed it, then the knobs and switches had a secondary function, basically. But on the OB-X8, there's an OLED screen, so when you press page 2, at the time of uploading, you get 41 additional options. Now, I'm not just going to reel those off because that would be incredibly boring. What I'm going to do is show you what that actually means in a musical context. So what I did was set up a sound and saved it, and then saved it again, so I had another copy basically. Go into page 2 and you can do things like offset the 2 pulse waves, or you can change the square mode from OB8 to OB-X8. You can go in and change the filter type. There's a whole bunch of them in here, including SEM types as well, and there's 2 poles and 4 poles and things. You can then go in and change the envelope types, so you get the different types of envelope behavior. You can do the same with the LFO as well, and you can just go through and just tweak a few little things so that the 2 sounds are related but just a little bit different. Another thing you can do in the globals menu is look at these alternative tuning scales. Now, some of these are really clangorous and atonal, but there's quite a few in here that are just subtly different. They can just change the sound just that little bit. So then what happens is, having tweaked these page 2 settings and the global settings, you wind up with a patch that sounds like 2 synths playing at the same time. So there we go, the Oberheim OB-X8 looks the part, feels the part, sounds the part, particularly when you get into those splits and stacks. It's just got girth. I think what's great about this instrument, which was great about the originals, was that they have an area of sound in which you can work, and it's nice and broad, but it's not completely open-ended like modular. And that suits this kind of instrument because it means it's the kind of thing that we'll use time and time again. You're not going to think, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to spend 25 minutes setting up a sound on that. You can get things dialed in very quickly or recall your presets from your last sessions. And I think these will be real workhorses. They'll get a lot of use in the coming years and will be a dream synthesizer for some. A huge thank you to Oberheim and Sequential, and thank you to you for watching.